So with that, I'm just going to ask everybody to go along the line and say their name and what their home unit is and what their role in this process is, and then we'll open things up to your comments.
I'm Andrew Calabrese. I'm Director of Graduate Studies in the Journalism and Mass Communication program, and I'm also chairing the steering committee that will be producing the report in the spring.
I'm Tim Brown. I'm Tim Brown. I'm a professor in electrical, computer, and energy engineering. I'm also the director of the Interdisciplinary Telecommunications program, and I'm a member of the steering committee.
My name is Dan Board, and I'm working with Jan Witt and Mick Morris on nonfiction multi-platform media. And what we're involved in is a brainstorming with faculty, and then we're just leading that discussion.
And what unit are you from, Dan?
Oh, film studies.
Thank you.
I'm Janice Peck. I'm an associate professor in this, journalism and mass communication. Taking a while to get rid of the school here. And I am the chair of the group that's discussing media studies, communication, and mass communication.
My name is Brett Robbs. I'm an associate professor in journalism and mass communication and teach in the advertising program, and I'm one of the two conveners of the advertising design discussion group.
I'm Dirk Grunwald. I'm in the Department of Computer Science, and I'm one of the conveners in session group 4, which is on technology computation related issues, with Tammy Sumner from Institute of Cognitive Science, and Eric Stade was on it, but unfortunately had to resign.
And Kai Larson.
Oh, and Kai Larson, right, yeah. So.
I'm Tom Yulsman. I'm an associate professor in the journalism and mass communication, also a voluntary or volunteer faculty member in environmental studies and co-director of the Center for Environmental Journalism. And I am the convener of a group that, among other groups, is discussing journalism, but also sort of journalism specialties and such as science and the environment. And we've got people from the JMC as well as Alan Townsend, who's the head of the environmental studies program in our group.
I'm Michelle Ellsworth. I'm an assistant professor in theater and dance, as well as the co-chair of dance and the associate director of CMAP, the Center for Media Arts and Performance in Atlas. And along with Mark America, we're the conveners for Group 6, discussing art and media, technology, and related issues.
And my name is Bruce Montgomery. I'm the faculty director of archives, and I'm representing the Humanities, Media Technology, Digital Humanities group. Number 7.
I am not Meg Moritz. She is the convener of the international group and could not be here because she's jet-lagged, and she's just back from England and France, so I'm one of the people that she corralled to join her in this international discussion group that she proposed to Jeff Cox. The other person is the director of the Center for Asian Studies, Laurel Rod. I am Bella Modi.
Thank you all. We have other members of the discussion groups and another member of the steering committee, Catherine Eggert, and you probably all met Carol Capsalis coming in, who is the person who's staffing this process. As I now invite you all to step up and say whatever it is you'd like to say, I do have to tell you this is being taped. We tape all these open sessions so that we can make them available to the public in the future. The Board of Regents, anybody else that wants to see what occurred in these conversations. So just so you're aware that you will be recorded for posterity. So we just open the floor to any particular comments, but we're happy to take questions as well.
Hi, I'm Paul Bake. I'm a graduate student in journalism and mass communication, and I really just have a question. I think this is a pretty exciting time after we all got over the shock a couple semesters ago. I think I'm hearing more enthusiasm from grad students. Certainly, they're feeling a little better right now than they were a year ago. My question is, how do you think we become not just a very modern school or program, but how do we get on the cutting edge, and how do we lead sort of a new discussion about technology and media, and I'm really interested in your ideas on those topics.
Okay, so I'm going to let members of the panel answer at will. I will say it's important to remember that we're at the beginning of a process. No one has made decisions about what we're going to do. So if everyone's allowed to speak from whatever position they have, but no one is speaking from the position of a decided program that we're creating. So what we would be talking about is ideas that are floating in the various groups.
Sitting there. I don't know. I'm not a tech person. I'm a word person, and I've sort of been thrown into this new world. I'm learning lots of new technology, but I also get the sense that it's been around for a while. The way we tell stories, and I just want to know if anyone's given any thought to new ways of telling stories that people 5 years from now or 10 years from now will be very comfortable with, but maybe we are just starting now to think about how to get those stories out in new ways. Good storytelling, I think, is the heart of everything that we do, but there may be new ways to do that, and I'm more interested to hear from the folks from the tech side, computer sciences, if there's something we don't know or haven't thought of yet. But I also realize that we're really at the beginning of this, and I don't expect people to have concrete plans.
I do think that what we're clearly trying to do is to bring people together from very different fields to engage in a conversation about the issues that you're talking about, and that we imagine that this new space we're creating is going to be a place where those people can continue in conversation. It's not as if the work we do this semester or the work we do in the spring is going to end this, what is clearly a kind of revolutionizing practice that is ongoing. I think that what I can say is that we are interested in bringing together the people who know most about technological innovation with the people who are using those technological innovations, as you say, to tell stories to the public, to bring information to the public, as well as people who study those practices and people who use those practices in all sorts of innovative ways in their own scholarship and creative work, so that there's a kind of range of interests that we're engaging here. And I know, again, just having eavesdropped on the conversation with the journalism people and documentary filmmaking people, the issue of story was kind of at the center of that conversation. How do you tell a story in a tweet? I mean, you don't, right? So.
Well, let me use this as a jumping off point. I'm from the Digital Humanities group. My name is Bruce Montgomery. We've been discussing this quite a bit in our meetings, and one of our primary or principal ideas is to discuss and propose the idea about how do we preserve human memory. We now are entering the rapidity, of course, the digital information. We have to somehow preserve this information, or at least part of it. There are critical questions to be asked. What do we preserve? What do we not preserve? This is an issue of also of computer technology, digital technology. What we preserve now is going to inform recorded history in the future. This is going to inform the arts. It's going to inform storytelling, how we interpret and write history, how documentary filmmaking is made. All of this is the raw material of history. And so I think we've been really pinpointing this, or really discussing this in some detail, about how exactly do we preserve human memory, and what does this mean for the digital humanities. They're going to be dependent upon what's preserved in the past and what we preserve now, both the social sciences and the humanities. So I think this is a fundamental issue that perhaps the new college should consider and perhaps incorporate in whatever configuration this college takes.